It was like I did die over there. And I was just living in this shell, empty, with no emotions, no feelings, and it was just so much pain that I couldn't bear it.
While serving in the Iraq War, Jeff West was physically and emotionally broken. He blamed God for the atrocities he witnessed during the war.
After seeing families and children, the moms, the dads, and just people being killed and losing my fellow Marines over there, I just couldn't believe that he was allowing this type of stuff to go on. I thought I was here doing good work, like I'm protecting, I'm fighting for my country so that people can live, but yet God is allowing all this to happen.
When he was a boy, Jeff went to church with his parents and was taught that God was loving and good. But seeing the horrors of war up close threw him into a deep depression. He hated himself and God.
I started to blame God for everything that was going wrong in my life. I had developed a hatred that, like, how can you allow this stuff to go on? And I did something for my country. I thought I was doing something good, and here I am, depressed.
He survived an IED attack on his Humvee that resulted in a serious back injury and led to an addiction to pain medication.
I had back problems. I had traumatic brain injury, and nothing regular over-the-counter medicine wouldn't help. And so I would use other methods of getting, narcotics and pain prescription pills and Xanax and stuff for anxiety.
After he returned to the States, Jeff married and had a son. But the chaos in his mind brought destruction to every area of his life.
I had become unfaithful to my wife. And again, that just further strengthened that capacity to hate myself even more. But mentally, just telling myself, like, you're better off dead. Like, what are you doing? You're not being an active father. You're doing all these terrible, terrible things. Something was missing inside of me.
Then, when he learned his mother died by drug overdose, Jeff decided he would take his own life.
I took 15 Xanaxes and about 38 oxys. The next thing I remember was I was in my car and there was a police officer looking at me, and he was shining a light in my eye. And then the next thing I remember is I woke up in jail.
While there, his wife filed a restraining order against him and later divorced him. Jeff was desperate for hope. Then a fellow inmate shared a Bible verse.
Somebody came up, and then they sat down and they shared, Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed by the world, but by the renewal of your mind. And then, and only then, will you be able to find peace.
Jeff knew he had no one else to turn to but God.
I was completely and utterly destroyed. That was my bottomless bottom. That was the lowest of my low. So I prayed. I sat there and I got down and I prayed to God, and I said, if you will deliver me, I will change my ways. I will go into rehab. I will do whatever it takes for me to get better and live a Christ-centered life. Then I just felt this wave come over me, and it knocked me to my knees, and I surrendered. There was a flicker of light, inside of me after that prayer. And
he entered a rehab program and got clean and sober.
My life is much more different than it was 3 years ago. I work in a field that I am so passionate about. I'm engaged to a beautiful woman, and we feed the homeless every month, and my life has become more positive. I feel like I live a more purpose-filled life now.
Jeff is helping veterans dealing with addiction and suicide.
22 veterans a day commit suicide. And purpose in my life has become to, be that beacon of hope.
He also works with his local church and volunteers with other recovery programs.
God doesn't use the perfect people to help make changes in the world. He uses people like me that's been broken and has come back, and being able to be a part of something greater. That wouldn't be possible unless God would have not picked me up off that floor. or I hadn't surrendered. So my life has drastically become a million times better, and I wouldn't, want anything else.